previous class, we were learning about the aquatic habitats right now, where
Yes,
we know that there are basically three types of aquatic habitats. What are the three types of aquatic habitats?
sir. The
Hmm.
three types of aquatic habitats are freshwater habitat, marine habitat, and coastal habitat.
Coastal habitats, good. So we learned what they are. Okay, what kind of animals or plants would be found
So,
in
sir,
them?
till now we only did about freshwater habitat, like
Yes.
their adaptations and plants
Mhm.
in freshwater habitat.
Right, right. Okay. By the way, do tell me that you must be having your schoolwork. Okay, Hana is also here. Yes, Hana, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, sir.
Okay, Hana, where have you been? Like you have joined class after a long while.
Sir, actually I went to India.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. So your vacations are still going on, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, next Monday my schools are gonna start.
Okay, your school would be starting next Monday. Okay. And Halima, you would be having your exam in the month of October, right?
September 7th.
In September only.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the exam date, by the way?
Sir, sir, I forgot.
Okay, okay, I will look into it. Okay. Because both of you turn your cameras on in the class. Okay. Anna, by the way, we started a new chapter in the batch. We are right now doing the chapter living organisms and their surroundings. Okay. Just let me give a quick recap of what are the things we have done so far. So in the chapter so far, we have learned about environment. What is an environment? What is found in the environment, namely living organisms called as biotic components form part of the environment, in which you will have flora, you will have fauna. Flora refers to all the given species of plants found in a specific area, right?
And
Plants,
fauna means animals.
animals, right? In a specific time and area.
Sir, can you just tell me the chapter name again?
Living organisms and their surroundings. Okay.
Like adaptations.
Yeah, in this we'd be learning about adaptations, how the animals are adapted to their surrounding. Okay. Also, the biotic components will not only include the visible life forms, visible animals and plants, but also invisible
Sir,
microscopic
I'll be
organisms.
leaving 5 minutes early today.
Okay, okay, no worries, no worries. Then in the environment, we also have abiotic components that do not have any life in them, like soil, water, air, sunlight, etc. That forms the abiotic components. Okay. And then organisms and the surroundings where they live. So different organisms are well suited to different type of surroundings. Like polar bears are suited to different kind of habitat, or the camels are suited to different kind of surroundings. So this is what we further learned, and we learned about the habitat. What is habitat? Habitat is basically a place we should be providing an organism with everything that it needs in order to stay alive, whether it be food, shelter, water, proper kind of weather, rainfall, proper amount of heat, right now, or the necessary conditions to breed with other animals of the same species, right?
Yes,
And different organisms would be adapted to their surrounding. One such example of adaptation is usually observed in the case of camels. Like camels would be having long legs, we should be providing them protection from the heat of the sand. So, so their major part of the body is above the sand. So their body is not very close to the sand. So thereby they would be protecting them from heat of the sand, right? They will excrete very small amount of urine, so they are not losing lots of water, right? Also, they do not sweat. Unlike we humans, they will not be sweating that much. Also, their poop or their dung, that is dry usually. So they are in that manner also, they are not getting rid of the water from their body. Also, they are well adapted to live without water even for several weeks. Okay, no? That is one thing. Also, this hump that you see, it contains fats. So right now, lots of fats are stored in this. Okay, now contrary to the common myth that it contains water, it actually contains fat that gives it with energy. Other adaptations are also, but once we get to the desert habitat now, we'll be learning about it in detail. Okay, now? We started the chapter with talking about the aquatic habitat. right now. So aquatic habitat, a region on earth, a place on earth that will be namely covered with water, right now. So different kind of water bodies are present on earth now, like you have lakes, rivers, ponds, seas, oceans, etc. Furthermore, on the basis of the location of the water bodies or on the basis of the type of water found in them, it will be usually classified into three habitats. Yes, Alima? They were mainly freshwater habitat
Marine habitat and coastal habitat.
and coastal habitat, right? Okay. These are the three main types of aquatic habitats. The one that you see over here, first of all, talking about the freshwater habitat. Freshwater habitat, now, these are basically those water bodies that will be filled with fresh water, right now. Also, our
Sir,
earth contains,
freshwater habitat, we can drink that water, right?
not in that sense. We can drink that, but basically the fresh water will contain a very minute or very less amount of dissolved salts in it. Okay, now.
Okay.
While in the case of marine habitat like ocean or
Sir,
seawater, they are saline.
they have salt, but not in that.
Not in that much quantity. Almost negligible quantity of salt is present in them. Okay, now. So the various kind of life would be present in them. Various kind of living organisms would be found living in the fresh water, like in the lakes, rivers, ponds, or the streams. Then you have another kind of water that will be found in oceans or seas that is usually saline because of high concentration of salt found in them. So getting it now? So that is unfit for consumption. We can't consume it. We can't use it for any of the purposes. Neither we can use it for drinking, even it is not suitable for washing the clothes. Okay. So you will see that even the peoples who are living near in the beaches, in the nearby the sea, so they can't rely upon the seawater. Okay, no? They can't rely upon the seawater for drinking. Okay. So marine habitat is there. Then coastal habitat is also there. So coastal habitat is basically coastal. First of all, a coastal area is that area like the area where the water body and the sea will be meeting now, like the beaches where the water body like the sea and the land is meeting, that is called as coastal area. So coastal habitats will have a special type of trees, special type of living organisms found to be living. One such example of a coastal habitat is Sundarban, okay, now where special kind of trees called as mangrove trees are found to be growing, where you get to see like half of the roots are dipped in the water, half of them is above the water. That is one thing. Okay. Talking about the animals. So usually the most common animal found in the aquatic habitat is the fishes. So almost all the fishes, excluding some of them, would be having these physical features, common features. Like they have a streamlined shape. The front part of their body is not having a large surface area, but rather it is very slim and having a very less area, which is very pointy. So thereby, while they will be moving in the water, the drag is reduced. Drag is reduced. Drag here is friction generated while a body or while a body would be moving in water. So as the swimmers would be swimming in the water now, so they will be up, water will be opposing them. Water will be uh, water will be applying a friction on their body. So the friction applied by the water, that will be called drag. So in order to minimize the drag, the fishes have a streamlined shaped body. Getting it now? Also, friction is there in the air also. You see the aeroplanes, the aircrafts that also have a shape similar to that of a fish. Okay, na? Similar to, in some way similar to that of ship, because the front part of the aircrafts that is made pointy,
Like,
and the surface area is minimized. Yeah, they also have that. Yeah. Okay, now also you see the birds.
Similar to fish's fins.
Exactly. Very good. And talking about the birds also, in order to minimize the friction while the birds would be flying in the air, so their body will also experience air friction. Right now, air friction. So in order to minimize that air friction, they will be having a streamlined shape. Anyways, so a streamlined shape will be helping the fishes to move easily in the water. Another thing is that slippery scales are present all over their body. If you happen to touch a fish, it will slip, it might slip out of your hand. Okay, no? So because the scales present on their body is very slippery. Okay. Furthermore, rather than having lungs, they have gills, and gills are filled with very thin and very fine blood capillaries. Okay, na? Like if you guys were to stretch out your eyes like this, you can observe a very thin blood vessel in your eye also. Hmm? Like when you look yourself in the mirror, if you were to stretch out your eyelids like this, you will observe a thin thread like a blood vessel which will be having a thickness equal to that of your hair. Even some of the blood vessels will be having a thickness lesser than your hair, would be visible. That we called as blood capillaries. So the gills that you see now, which is basically red in color, right? Why it is red? Because it has lots of blood vessels called as capillaries present in it. Getting it, everyone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
as also these are open. These are open. Fishes have openings on their on the front part of the body on both the sides. So as the water would be moving, so the oxygen dissolved in the water will be taken up by the gill, right? And as the water will exit from the other end, Hannah, have a look at over here. So as the water would be coming out from the other end of the gill, so this water will take out the carbon dioxide from the body of the fish. So this is how fishes are adapted to survive in the aquatic habitat. Also, fishes will show some behavioral adaptations also. Yes, Halima, you tell us, huh? How fishes show behavioral adaptation?
Sir,
Yes, like there are two kind of adaptations now, like the presence of the fins or the tails or having a streamlined shaped body. All these are the physical adaptations, like change in their body, change in the shape and structure of the body. Okay, no, that is one type of adaptations, but they will be changing their behavior also. You guys observe this, like many times you would have observed that many small fishes would be swimming together. Huh?
yes, sir.
Many of the small fishes would be swimming together, probably in
They're
numbers
like
of
they
millions or
swim
billions,
in groups.
swimming in groups in order to avoid being hunted from the predators. Okay, na? So like if a big shark comes in, so it will be difficult for the shark to catch any of the fishes, right now? Getting it? That is one thing. So
Yes.
many of the small fishes would be swimming together in a very coordinated manner to avoid being hunted by the predators. That is one thing. While many of the fishes can do camouflage also, they can do camouflage also. You guys know
Sir,
certain kind of
they
fishes.
float on the water, like if they are dead.
Which we learned in the previous class, no? Like
They're
if
like
a predator.
there's like rocks in like the aquatic region.
Hmm.
So some of the fishes may have same color or texture like that, so they get camouflaged.
Exactly, right now. So they will hide themselves among the rocks by acquiring the same color as the rocks. So it would be hard for the predators to detect them. And
So
as
under
Halima, you were
the
saying,
water, is it a fish or a frog? I mean
yeah,
rocks.
exactly. Also, apart from fishes, octopuses are usually known to do camouflage, right now. Octopuses are also good. They will be also be camouflaging. Okay. Now, many times now, fishes would lie flat in the water like this. Fishes usually would be swimming in the water like this, but sometimes they will lay flat like this. So that's the indication that the fish is dead. Okay, na?
So
If a
the
fish is,
predators won't eat them.
the predators will think, okay, that fish is this fish is dead. Let's go on to hunt a live fish. Okay. So these are some behavioral adaptations seen in the case of fish. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then further we learned about adaptations in freshwater habitat. Okay, now there we learned that different kind of creatures like fishes, different amphibians, dragonflies, snails would be commonly found. These are the animals commonly found in the freshwater habitat. Right? We did learn about how fishes are adapted. We did learn about frogs also, like they would be taking in oxygen via the moist skin. So once the frogs are under the water, so they will be taking in oxygen via their skin. Once they are out of the water, they will be taking in oxygen via their lungs. Getting it now? Via their lungs. Then in the case of chameleon, which is also a freshwater organism, okay, na? So that will also be doing camouflage in order to protect itself. That is something which we learned in the previous classes so far.
Sir,
Then
they
we
also
don't,
take color. Chameleon also take color.
exactly. Okay. Furthermore, talking about adaptations in plants in freshwater habitats, so we have certain examples, like we have example of a water lily. So this water lily would be floating on the water, or lotus plant also floats on the water, because the leaves of these plants now, lots of air bubbles are filled in their leaves. Lots of air is filled in this leaves. So thereby it becomes very light. The weight is not that much, it is light, and hence it will float above the water. Getting it? Also,
Yes.
water will not be sticking to the leaves because the leaves have a waxy coating above it. There's a waxy layer above the leaf, so thereby water will not be sticking to it. Furthermore, you guys might think like this plant, this aquatic plant, stays in the water for its whole life. So why does it not become very spongy? Like if I were to drop some clothes in the water, some spongy material, it will absorb lots of water and will become heavy. The reason is that it is capable to regulate the amount of water that it will absorb. Okay, na? So beyond a certain limit, the body of this plant will not be absorbing water from the body. It will absorb only that much amount of water that it needs. Getting it, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
these are the things which we learn. Now in today's class, we'll be learning about adaptations of organisms in marine habitat. So this is what we'll be learning. Okay. So here also you will get to see that different kind of organisms would be pretty much doing the same kind of adaptations as we learned in the case of freshwater habitat. Like they would be doing camouflage. That is one of the most common thing. While some special things we should be seeing that they would be well adapted to various environmental conditions, like if the temperature in their environment is changing, if the amount of light is changing, so in that manner also they would be adapting. So let's study about this in detail. Okay. So talking about adaptations in the marine habitat, like fishes would be found here. Fishes would be having gills. Certain kind of animals would be having blowholes in their body. You guys would be aware of the like the dolphins.
Sir, like dolphins and whales.
Dolphins and whales.
Sir,
So they
dolphins come up to breathe.
exactly right now. Or most of the fishes, like all the fishes in the marine habitat, they have a streamlined body, so thereby they will be able to swim faster. Right? Fins would be present in their body.
Yes, sir.
Right now, fins are basically wing-like structures present on their body that helps them to move through the water. So first of all, we are going to look at the adaptations in the case of animals. So gills should be found, right? Gills should be
Yes, sir.
found. Blowholes would be found. So what are blowholes? You guys seen like a dolphin ever visited
Yeah,
a
sir. In
national park?
dolphin, like they have blowholes.
They have blowholes now, right? So in dolphins it is there. Even in the whales it is there. Even in the whales it is there. Got this, everyone? So it's basically an opening in their head. What is it?
An
Opening.
their head.
In the
Opening in the head.
opening in the head, right now. So that will be basically that's some of the animals use
That
for
helps
breathing.
them breathe, right?
Exactly, helps them for breathing. So once in a while, the dolphins or the whales would be coming to the surface, and once they would be coming close to the surface, now a large amount of water will be released from the blowholes. So like once they are under the water now, the water would be entering into those blowholes, right? So as they come up to the surface of the water, all those waters would be first released with a great amount of pressure from those blowholes. Right now,
Yes,
so the sound that you see now, the sound that they produce, it's actually the sound produced due to water coming out from the blowholes at great pressure.
Yes,
That's
sir.
clear. Good. Talking about fins, fins would be usually found in the on the fishes all right now. So they are basically wing-like structures that helps to change their direction in water body, in the water body. That is one thing. Another common feature of the animals would be streamlined shape. Streamlined shape. That will be helping them to move easily in the water. Is that much clear to everyone so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now certain animals would be able to do camouflage also. Right? Different kind of fishes would be doing camouflage. Now some of them would be doing symbiosis also. You guys know about symbiosis? Yes. You guys know about symbiosis or not?
No, sir.
Okay. So basically symbiosis would be
No.
now where two organisms would be mutually interdependent on each other. They would be dependent upon each other and both of them would be benefited from each other. Okay. Like for examples, have you guys ever observed this? That many small fishes would be would be swimming near to the body of the whales.
Yes, sir.
You know about that? Why? Why the whales are not being disturbed by the presence of those small fishes that are present near to their body? Because you know what? They would be eating the dead skins of the whales. Right now, they would be eating the dead skins of the whales. Furthermore, there would be lots of fungus or algae that would be growing on the body of the whales. So the small fishes would be eating those algae, those fungi also. So thereby, the small fishes are getting their food from the body of the whale, while the body of the whale is being cleaned by those small fishes. So both of them are benefited from each other. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
So certain organisms will show symbiosis also. Hope both of you have understood this.
Yes, sir.
Hope that much is clear so far. Okay, Ira should also be joining then, I think, from the next class. She might also have gone to India and might be back from India, I think.
Yes, sir.
Both of you guys are in the same school, no?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
what is
Yes,
the last word?
symbiosis. Symbiosis. Okay, no?
Uh,
It's a relationship in which both the organisms are benefited from each other. They are benefited from each other. So hope that much is clear. All of you write it down. Okay.
Done, sir.
Done?
Then
Okay, so
sir,
we are very good. Now let us learn about adaptation in marine plants. Okay, no? Like how the marine plants would be adapted. Okay. Marine, you guys understand basically. Yeah, I was actually about to discuss this thing that the kind of plants that would be found under the water. Right now, like you would have seen kelp. Huh? You might have seen such kind of plants, I believe. Like, let me show you this image of this thing. Have you guys seen such things, such kind of plants? Yes, sir. Not really. I mean to suggest the images of those things, those plants.
sometimes.
Mhm. So these are actually food for the aquatic animals, like the fishes would be eating them. Hmm. Also, just look at their structure, look at their bodies. Look over here. Now, you guys, first of all, tell me that the plant that grows on the land, it requires sunlight, it requires oxygen, it requires water. All the necessary things are required by it in order to carry out
Yes, sir.
different life process. What about the plants growing under the water? Hmm? How the plants under the marine habitat are able to survive? How do plants breathe underwater?
Sir,
Yes.
some light rays pass through the water.
Some repeat again.
Some light rays pass through the
Hmm.
water.
Very good. Some of the sun's rays, more specifically, you should be saying sun's rays. The sun's rays are able to pass into the water. Good. Okay, so
And sir,
they are getting sunlight. Mhm.
oxygen is also present inside the water.
Very good. Oxygen is present. Oxygen is dissolved in the water. Good. And yes, you guys know we have several type of aquatic plants, like the one such example, the one that you see over here, or you have examples of
There's
water lily.
corals.
Mhm. They are,
There's corals.
yeah. See, these plants, these are basically these ones that you see over here. Now, these are actually sea grasses. Okay, the sea grasses actually look similar to this. Okay, no, although this is the image of a kelp, but sea grasses also look similar to this. And
Yes, sir.
sea grasses, there's a very unique way how certain different kind of plants under the marine habitat would be performing photosynthesis. Like this seagrass, na, it will lack stomata. It does not have any stomata, but still it will be able to carry out photosynthesis. Hmm? It will be able to carry out photosynthesis. Getting it now?
Yes.
So we know that the function of the stomata is for the purpose of gaseous exchange now. To get carbon dioxide, like a plant, what does it require? A plant would be requiring carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. There's a plenty of water
Yes.
for this plant. There's a plenty of water. There
Yes.
isn't any deficiency of
Sunlight,
water.
sunlight,
Mhm. Sunlight,
and
sunlight is also available here.
fertilize the soil.
All the nutrients it would be getting from the bed of the sea, from the seabed. No,
Yes.
from the seabed it will get all the nutrients. The roots are also well developed, not that much developed, but roots are present. It would be getting all the nutrients from the water and from the seabed. So talking particularly about the sea grasses now, like the sea grasses, they lack stomata in them. So how will they be able to carry out photosynthesis? See, they would actually be relying upon, depending upon certain kind of bacteria present in the seabed. Certain kind of bacteria are present in the seabed. Okay, now, and those
Yes.
bacteria would be providing the plant carbon dioxide gas. Getting it now? Those
Yes.
bacteria provide it with carbon dioxide. So isn't this such a very unique thing to see happening under the water? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
getting it now. Furthermore, we have the case of water lily. Water lily is found in the marine habitat also, by the way, right now. So where we
Yes.
see that the if you I were to go back to this image, just 1 minute. Yeah, you see the below part of the upper side of the leaf will be having a stomata. The upper side of the leaf would be having a stomata, while the below part of the leaf will not have any stomata in them. Getting it?
Yes.
Yes.
Huh? Also think of this thing now. Like think about this thing. Like a plant. If these sea
Yes. We have to
grasses,
write.
just 1 minute, I will be telling you what you guys have to write down. Okay. If we were to talk about the sea grasses, if stomata were to present in their body now, you guys know stomata are very tiny pores present on the leaves now, right?
Yes, sir.
Stomata, these are stomata, and they are very tiny pores. Stomata are tiny openings in their body. So if stomata were to be present in these aquatic plants, na, the plant will drown. What will happen? The plant will drown. You know why? All those tiny holes will be filled with water. The body of the plant will become heavy and it will basically drown. So in certain examples, in certain cases of aquatic plants like the water lily, or in the case of the sea grasses, the like in sea grasses, stomata are completely absent. While in the case of water lily, what happens now? Stomata will be present only on the upper side of the plant, not on
Yes.
the lower side of the
Below
plant.
side.
Logically speaking, you guys can understand this. If it were to present on the lower side of the leaf also, basically water will enter into those stomata and hence it will not be working. Getting it? It will not make any sense.
Yes.
Got this? That is one thing. Okay. So hope you guys have understood this thing so far.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, can
Can
I
you
write
Which one?
the one that you kept before this?
Before this one.
This one.
Actually, this is about the adaptation of plants in the freshwater habitat. Okay, now. Although there's one important thing, like the example of, for example, this water lily. This example is not restricted only to the freshwater habitat. Okay,
Yes, sir.
we can take this example in that case also. But usually this water lily would be found to be growing in the fresh water. Okay, now, or like
Yes.
lotus will be found to be growing in the fresh water only. Okay, now you will never usually get to see that it will be growing the water lily or the lotus plant would be growing in the oceans or the seas.
Yes, sir.
Getting it, everyone? So hope you guys have understood this so far. Okay. So write down the things which I'm
Yeah,
going to
I
write
finished.
over here.
Yeah, I finished doing this.
Finish doing this. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Just write few statements over here. Okay. So in this, talking about adaptations in plants in marine habitat. So you will write that most of the, not most, I would rather say that some of aquatic plants, like for example, you have sea grasses, lack, LACK, lack stomata, and rely upon bacterias, rely upon bacterias for carbon dioxide to carry out photosynthesis. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
That is one thing. Okay. Furthermore, talking about some other adaptations seen in them. Okay, na? So they would be taking in oxygen. They would be taking the dissolved oxygen from the water. So they take dissolved oxygen from water. Okay. Write down these two important points. There's another important thing here. If you were to look, observe this image now, like the leaves are lying flat. The leaves are kind of lying flat. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So most of the leaves of most of the aquatic plants would be lying flat. You know what's the reason for this? So that it can acquire maximum amount of sunlight. It can collect maximum amount of sunlight. Okay, na? So
Yes,
most
sir.
of the in another way, it should be written like this: that the leaves of most aquatic plants lie flat in order to collect maximum sunlight. Collect maximum sunlight. Aquatic here, specifically, we are talking about marine habitat. Okay, now you guys think of this also, like the body of the plant, it should be really very light. It should not be very heavy. Otherwise, it would sink into the bottom of the sink in the bottom. So
Yes, sir.
there must be something special about the leaves or about the body of the plant so that it floats in the water, huh? Kind of floats in the water, or kind of does not sink into the water. So thereby, air will be filled. Large amount of air will be filled in their body. Okay, now particularly their stem. So stems of marine plants are filled with air. Okay, write down this much.
Sir, only marine plants are filled with air, right?
Done, sir. Sir,
This is
can I just go to the restroom?
okay. See, not only marine plant, it will be observed in the case of fresh water also, like in the case of water lily, no, Halima, as we observed. Okay.
Yes.
Mhm. Done.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then. Now we are going to talk about adaptations in coastal areas. Adaptations in coastal areas. So talking about the coastal areas, I suppose now you know like what a coastal area is, right? As we have learned that coastal area is basically a area where the water body will be meeting with the land. That is what a coastal area is. Getting it?
Yes.
So talking about adaptations, adaptations shown by organisms in coastal areas. First of all, let us talk about the animals found in this region. Okay, no, found in the animals. So different kind of animals would be found in this, like certain kind of crabs would be found, like usually talking about the beaches, certain kind of crabs, turtles would be found. Getting it now? Coconut crabs would be found. Getting this? That is one of the common
Yes.
fish found in the observed in the organisms in the coastal areas.
Yes.
First of all, let us get to know the creatures found over here. So creatures found, it will be different kind of reptiles, like could be snakes, certain kind of lizards would be found. Getting it? Certain kind of insects would be found. Crabs would be found. Okay. Furthermore, in several situations, seals can be found. Right now, seals, they are the marine mammals, and they would be found to be living in coastal areas. Right now, they can be found particularly in the cold coastal areas. Getting it now? What I'm saying about cold coastal areas, right? So seals, I mean, so seals found in
Sir, what did you write? Creatures?
creatures found.
Creatures found
FOUND
in
found.
coastal areas.
Mhm. Okay, so seals would be found in cold coastal areas. Okay, now. Also, you guys, first of all, do tell me, both of you would be having your school books now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Do one thing, after today's class now, make a PDF out of the exercise questions. Make a PDF of the exercise questions. Okay. So do one thing. You guys do one thing, that after the class, make a PDF of the exercise questions and share it with the team. Share it with the Learnivio team. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Sir, like which chapters?
Of this chapter, living organisms and the surroundings. Okay, so that we get to discuss those questions also in the class, so that you guys don't miss out on any important questions. Because basically in your exams now, questions would be coming from your textbooks also, from your exercise questions also.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us understand how the animals would be adapted to live in this coastal region, right? Talking about coastal regions, crabs would be found, and you will see that crabs would be feeding upon small creatures. Crabs would be, in order to hide themselves from their prey, they would hide themselves under the sand. Right now, in beaches, crabs would be hiding themselves under
Yes.
the sand. You'd have observed that. Getting
Sir,
it
sometimes in the rocky areas also.
in the rocky areas also, they would be hiding themselves. Good. Furthermore, talking about this thing, like we do observe, like in the case of snakes also, certain kind of snakes would also be found to be present in the shallow water. They would be hiding themselves in the shallow water and would be feeding upon other small reptiles, other small creatures, right? Certain kind of animals found in this region would be no be having would be showing camouflage also, right? Certain kind of octopuses would be living in the coastal areas, in the coastal water, and they would be doing camouflages. Another important feature found in the coastal areas now is the presence of coral reefs. Just let me show you an image of it.
Sir, I was talking about this.
This
Sir, I
coral
have
reef.
seen that.
Yeah.
Seen this, no? Very good. You know, this coral reef would be usually found in the coastal areas. Like, let me show you like this over here. Say that this is land, okay, and this part is sea. So these things that you see over here, no, these will be mainly present in the water body. It is present in the water body over here, and it will be very close to the water, to the land. It will be close to the
Sir,
land.
and in where these coral reefs are, like mostly the fishes that are like the one that's above that white and orange fish, like mostly they are found there. Like
Exactly, they will be found. Also, the kind
there's
of
also
fishes.
one blue fish. There's like one blue and orange color fish. Those are also found there.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Mostly.
Various kind of fishes will be found. Okay, na? See, basically these are small rocky structures.
Sir,
These are
they
yes,
hide under them.
they hide under them. Very good. Okay, na? They would be hiding under them. They'd be making their shelter in those small rocky structures. These are actually small rocky structures. Okay, na? The small rocky structures.
Sir, but
Furthermore,
by their looks like they're soft.
yeah, they do look like they're soft. Okay, na? Actually, the colorful structures that you see now, they are actually different kind of creatures other than fishes. Different kind of alga, different kind of fungi are growing there. Okay, na? Different kind of alga or different kind of fungi are also growing there. Getting this, small creatures would be found there, and it would be very easy for them to hide under those small structures. As you can see over this fish has hidden in in this structure. So that is how they would be adapted to live in this, and it would be really difficult to hunt them. It would be
Yes.
really difficult to hunt them. Okay, now like this you can see over here. The coral reefs would be present in such coastal areas. That is one thing. Let me just clean it out. So talking about adaptations, tiny fishes would either do camouflage or hide under the rocky structures. Rocky structures. Okay. By the way, have you guys ever seen those documentaries, those videos? Like I saw one documentary where I saw that there was a fish. He was collecting tiny shells of other organisms, and he would make a very beautiful nest out of that in order to impress the female fish. Have you seen that? Like he would be collecting lots of shells like this, and that fish would be arranging it in this manner, like this. Okay, and he would make it very neat and clean, and it will look very beautiful. So it would make a nest like this in order to impress the other fishes. So it's another interesting thing that we get to see in the aquatic habitat. Like fishes are quite interesting animals. Okay, no, they are quite interesting animals. Certain kind of fishes you would have seen, they would be glowing, their body would be glowing. They are luminous. Luminous fishes are also there. Okay, so write this much. After this, you'd be learning about, yeah, done, no? Okay. By the way, talking about the kind of plants that grow in the coastal areas now. One of the common example is the mangrove forest. Like you would have seen the mangrove forest, the mangrove trees that you see over here. Right here. This will also be found, but not in all the coastal areas. In some of the coastal areas, this mangrove tree will be found. Getting this now? This mangrove will be found in some of them. Okay. While other tiny plants that would be found to be living in the coastal areas would be basically certain kind of herbs or shrubs. Like for example, sea campion is one such example that will be found. Let me show just one image of it. And later on, you'd be after seeing this image, you'd be able to understand like how the plants would be adapted. Okay, no? Sea campion. Look at this over here. Okay, it would be growing near to the in the coastal areas. This plant over here. Okay. Or for example, you guys tell me about this one, like this herb by the name of if I'm able to recall this, it goes by the name of rosemary. This is found to be growing
it
in the
looks
coastal
like
areas.
thin.
Yeah, like that. Okay, no?
So like most people use this like in cooking or something because to get a good
Acha, was that the case? Okay.
yeah.
Anyways, then this beach rose also. Look at the name. The name itself, the name has the word beach in it. Beach rose. Okay, na? You know what is the special about this beach rose? As you guys would be aware that the kind of water present in the coastal area would be salty, right? The
Yes.
water in the coastal area will be salty now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So those are kind of plants that would be growing in the coastal areas. Now they are well adapted to grow in high salt concentrations. Even if the water contains lots of salt in it, the plant will be able to grow. Right now. So this particularly this beach rose, it's a rose that can tolerate lots of lots of salt in the sea. Okay, now also it can grow even in cold water. Getting it now? That is one such a special thing about it. So far what I said, that how the plants adapted. So some plants, like for example, beach rose can grow even in high high salt, grow in water having high concentration
Sir,
of salt. Yes,
what is the word after can grow?
can grow even in water having high concentration of salt. After this, we have some plants, some trees like mangroves also grows, particularly in Sundarban. It's a place in the West Bengal. Sundarban is in West Bengal. Okay, na? So mangrove trees are found to be growing in coastal areas. Okay, now talking about how mangrove trees are adapted to grow in the coastal water. Okay, in the coastal areas. So see, basically they will also be tolerated to grow in a high amount of salt because it will contain lots of salt in it. But it has such a
Sir,
system.
can I leave now?
Okay, okay.
Bye, sir.
Yes, bye. Yes, Halima, see, the mangrove trees that would be growing in, just have a look at it, then you can write it down, See this water, it's obvious that it will contain lots of salt in it because you see water here, it is seawater, getting it? So the mangrove trees, the roots of the mangrove trees, it has such a system that it can filter out the salt. The salt को filter out कर सकता है. It will not take the salt from the water. So it has salt filtration system. So isn't it very interesting? Yeah.
Yes. And also, sir, partially the roots of them are also
Exactly.
coming up.
Exactly. Partially, only partial amount of root is immersed in the water. Getting
Sir,
it?
I'm done.
Done. Okay.
Yeah.
Just write down one more point, and the topic will be, and this will be finished. In this, just write down over somewhere over here now. I'm writing over here. Okay, now the roots of mangrove trees can filter out the salt. They can filter out the salt. Okay. So that is one special thing about this. Okay. Do let me know once you're done.
Done, sir.
Done. So Halima, we are done with the aquatic habitat. Okay, now after this, you'd be learning about the terrestrial habitat. Okay, now.
Yes.
Okay. So talking about the terrestrial habitats. So first of all, you'd be learning about the desert. Okay. Apart from deserts, there are lots of terrestrial habitat. Terrestrial habitat, first of all, understand what does it basically mean. So terrestrial habitat is basically being referred to the land habitat. Okay, na? It's a
Yes.
land habitat. Okay, just hold on for a minute. I'll be back in a second. Just 1 minute. Okay. Talking about the deserts, the first type of terrestrial habitat we're going to be discussing is that. So deserts would be any region now, any place on earth where the amount of water would be usually very less, right? That's the usual thing. Vegetation found in this will be very less, even if certain trees are found to be growing. Like we'd be having example of cactus, or we have certain kind of trees. The roots of those trees will be growing very deep. The roots would be growing very deep. Okay. Furthermore, different kind of creatures like snakes, rats, be digging burrows. They would be digging burrows to escape from the heat of the sun. Getting it? Like for example, this rat over here that you see, they would be digging burrows inside the sand. Burrows, you understand? Now they would be making
Yes.
a
Sir, like
channel of,
rabbit.
like the rabbits would be doing it, like a channel of holes, or channel of small holes would be dug by
Yes.
them, where they would be living. Especially they would be hiding themselves in the day in order to escape the scorching heat of the sun, right? Now also,
Yes.
as compared to the camels, now the small creatures like the snakes or the rats, they don't have long legs. like this camel, it has long legs, so thereby
Yes.
the its body is pretty much away from the heat of the sun or from the sand, so thereby it is one of the adaptations, so it is beneficial
Yes.
for this. But unlike this camel, इनके पास तो इतने लंबे legs नहीं है, they don't have such long legs now like this rat or the snakes. So how will they protect their body from the intense heat? So they will simply hide themselves under the burrows that they will be digging in the sand. That is one thing. Okay.
Yes.
Furthermore, the kind of plants that will be growing here, like there would be lots of
Cactus.
thorns would be present, like the cactus right now. Furthermore, the leaves are not present in them. Rather than leaves, thorns are present. So we say that leaves are modified into thorns, right? The
Yes.
leaves modified the thorns ki form mein. So in deserts,
Sir,
plants leaves would be, yes.
in desert cactus, I mean,
Mhm.
in the desert, their water is not present, right? So
Yeah,
how
of
can
course.
the cactus grow in the
See,
desert?
water